Another common workflow when working with topographical maps is that you need to put on grids or gradicules on the map. I mentioned this word gradicule. You see here we have, in this case we have two grids if you wish. We have one grid here that following the UTM network, and then we have in black, and then we have these red lines which have their giving the latitude and longitude as degrees, decimal degrees in this case. So we have two grids, and traditionally we call, if we're using a latitude longitude, we call it a gradicule, and anything else we call it a grid. So often we need to add these things to our topographical maps. So in QGIS I will bring up my print composer. Print one, bring up this one, and I will then add my map frame. Yeah. So I'll add my map frame like this, which is my area more or less. I'll just move my map frame for make it a bit easier, and I'll move the content inside my map frame like that, and I might set the scale to 1 to 50,000. It's not bad. So I have a map frame, and if I want to add a grid to that, that's an item property. So if you go over here, we see I'm in my item properties, item property, and my extent, and my whatever I got up here. If I go down under grids, I can press the little green plus, and I can specify my grid, how it's going to be displayed, which coordinate system it is. I will start up with a grid in the same coordinate system as my map. Let's use that one there. And I then specify how large I want my grids to be. Let's say I want them to be 100 meters by 100 meters. Oops, 100 meters by 100 meters. I see that must maybe a bit, let's say kilometer by kilometer. So we now have a grid network here, where we have a grid for each kilometer. So that was a grid, and I specified its parameters, how close they were in map units. I can go down and I can add a frame. So if I want one of these zebra frames, it will then align with the grid, so it changes color from black to white for each grid we have. We can then show, do we want to have divisions, and yeah, and I just say I want to have some coordinates, and we have all the coordinates there. Bit too many decimals, get rid of those, like that. So now I have my coordinates all the way along here. I don't want to have them in my right, so I just disable them there. And I don't want them in my bottom, I'll just disable them there. So now I've got them in my left and my top side. I only need those two, because what I want to do is that I want to add a new grid. So if I go up and again press the green, this time I'll go down and change my to the VGS, so a latitude longitude coordinate system, and I want to add a grid for each point. Let's see what happens if I say 1. Yeah, there's one line there. I'll probably let's say 0.05. So now I've got those two lines, and I'll also use 0.05 on the other axis. And at the moment all is black. I'll just change my line style down here to be not black, but I'll have them in red. So the red ones are my second grid, grid 2, which is a gratitude because it's based on latitude and longitude. And I can then go down and say I want coordinates of those. But this time I only want them on my, they're a bit close to the net. I don't want them on my top. So let's disable them there. And I don't want them on my left, so I'll disable them there. A bit confusing, like that. And then I will add a bit more space. So let's say this one like that. So now we have my latitude, longitude information with decimal degrees here, and we have the grid here with my UTM coordinates. So here I've added two different grids onto my same topographical map. So adding a grid is a property of the data frame, map frame in the print composer. So you choose them, ensure that your map frame is selected, and you can then choose from the item properties of that map frame, and you go under grids, you press the little green plus, and then you can add grids with, and you can use different coordinate systems. So you can have both a UTM in this case and a latitude, longitude, a gratitude on your map. And of course they have different colors, and you can play around with all these different properties of the grid.